Old School Pokemon here. Today's video, I'm going to be showing you everything that I have set aside for eventual PSA grading. Obviously, as most of you are probably aware, PSA is basically shut down right now. Their cheapest service level is $200 per card, so probably not going to be submitting any of these cards under that service level. However, once PSA decides to kind of reopen a more cost-effective or cheaper service level, that's when I'll start submitting these cards into PSA for grading, which for me, that's going to be when they reopen a $100 per card or below tier. That's when I'm going to start submitting these cards into PSA for grading. But until then, they're just going to be sitting in cardboard boxes inside my safe, basically just collecting dust. But yeah, thought it'd be kind of cool to go through everything and kind of show you everything that I have set aside for PSA right now. A lot of really good cards in here, so hopefully you guys enjoy this video. We will start off with this stack on the right here with the unlimited base set Blastoise. These cards actually came from two separate collections that I had purchased a while back, 2-3 months ago. It was two collections that I purchased right around the same time. The first collection was a $10,500 collection. The seller actually flew out to Boston and we met up in person to do an in-person cash deal, which was really cool. Had never done a large in-person transaction like that. So that was a cool experience right there. And then the second collection was a $5,000 collection, a little bit smaller, but again, it was a really cool collection because it had just a wide variety of everything from, there was a little bit of WotC bulk, there was WotC hollows, EX series, EX cards, Diamond and Pearl through Heart Gold, Soul Silver, hollows and reverse hollows, XY through current hit cards, Detective Pikachu sets, the 25th anniversary of McDonald's promos. There was just a little bit of everything within that collection, which was really cool. But unfortunately, I never did a video on either of those collections, which I wish I had done, because like I said, they were really cool. But I received both those collections. I went through them both, and this was the stack of cards that I decided to kind of set aside for eventual PSA grading. I also sent some of those cards off to CGC for grading, but I figured these ones would be better off to kind of hold on to and wait for PSA to reopen to submit into PSA. The remainder of cards within that collection, basically ones that I didn't want to send off for grading, those have all been sold, or for the most part, all of those have been sold off via my Whatnot live streams. So if you guys have been watching, my live streams on Whatnot, for the most part, all of the inventory, or all the cards that I've been selling on Whatnot have come from those two collections. So, I still have a decent bit from both those collections, but all the big hitters are gone. It's more so just kind of like the bulkier cards, the modern cards and stuff like that. But anyway, this video, going to be showing you, all these ones that I have set aside for grading. For the most part, everything that you see here should be like PSA 8 and above. There are a few exceptions, like the Charizard right here is definitely not a PSA 8 or above. As you can see, there is some hollow scratching going on the bottom portion of the card right there. Also on the side of the card right there. And then the back of the card does have a bit of whiteness, but overall, pretty clean card. And where it is a base set Charizard, figured that one would be worth grading versus just selling as an ungraded card. So I do have that one set aside. That one, I'd imagine, would probably grade PSA 7 or so. But for the most part, all the other cards, like these ones you're seeing right here, these ones should all grade as being PSA 8 and above. That's typically what I do. As I go through collections, and any WotC hollows or any of the more expensive cards, like you'll see in a minute, some EX series cards, anything like higher grade, higher end, that I believe would grade as being a PSA 8 and above, I set aside for eventual grading to PSA or CGC. Anything PSA 7 and below, I typically sell as being ungraded raw, which for some cards, it might be worth grading PSA 7s and below, depending upon what card you're actually talking about. But that's just kind of how I've always done it. Kind of recuperate my money from the the cards that I sell off as being ungraded, and then my actual profit will come from these types of cards that I send off to PSA and kind of play the long game, waiting to get those returned and slowly selling those off, so on and so forth. So we've got the WotC Hollows, we've got all the EX cards, we've got some Level X cards right here, and then finally we have two of these cards, which are really cool. I like these cards a lot. We've got the Charmander and Charmeleon. Charmander City Championship stamp, and then the Charmeleon State Championship stamp. And just so you guys can get an idea on the condition, we'll show the Charmander again, as well. So Charmander, really nice condition. No scratches on the actual holo foil itself, as far as I can tell. And then the back of the card is also looking really good. We do have one little speck of whiteness in the upper right corner there, and then another one in the lower left corner right there. But overall, really nice condition on that card. So I figured instead of just selling that as a raw copy, definitely want to get that one graded. And I set that one aside for PSA versus CGC. Set all these aside for PSA versus CGC, just because they are more like higher end WotC Hollows, and just really good condition EX series EX cards. Same thing with the Level X cards and these two. So I figured instead of sending to CGC, I'd hold off and wait for PSA, because CGC is still selling for less than PSA, and on these types of cards, I would like to get that PSA premium, if you will. So I have all those set aside for eventual PSA grading whenever PSA decides to reopen. So there's that stack right there, and then now we'll get into the bulk of this video, which will be all of these cards right here. Starting off with the first edition Jungle set. Now, these cards, again, going to be really good condition, PSA 8s and above. Let me just move these over, because I'm going to knock the Legendary Collection set down. But yeah, so PSA 8 and above for the most part on these cards. These cards actually all came from my binder sets. So back in the day, I built a complete first edition Jungle through first edition Neo Destiny, plus the Legendary Collection Expedition Aquapolis, which is over here, and Reverse Holo Legendary Collection. I built all those binder sets back in the day, when I got back, I got back into Pokemon in 2009. Back then, I was more so focused just on the business aspect of Pokemon, so buying and selling. Really never got into collecting too much. No Symbol Jungle set right here. But I was buying and selling Pokemon from 2009 up till 2013, 2014 or so, all through high school for the first half of college. Then college just got to be too much for me, between going to school full-time, working part-time on the weekends, and trying to run an eBay business as well. Just got to be too much for me. So I shut down my eBay store, sold everything off that I had at the time, and told myself that I was going to be done with Pokemon forever. That obviously was not the case. So after I graduated from college, I started working full-time and quickly got back into Pokemon. I graduated college in June of 2015, got my first job in July or August of 2015, worked on the ship till like November, December, got back home in December, around there. And then come January, I'm sitting at home bored, looking for something to do, so I immediately get right back into Pokemon, and kind of it's grown ever since. But when I did get back into Pokemon back in January of 2016, that's when I started to kind of decide that I wanted to collect myself as well. So my first collection goal was the complete WotC sets in first edition. I had the first edition base set in a binder at one point. I eventually sold that and built a PSA 8 first edition base set. But all of the other WotC sets, I really like collecting in binders versus graded cards, just because of the space. Graded cards take up a lot of space, whereas binder sets really don't take up too much space, and you can easily flip through them and look through them and enjoy them how you want. So I really like the idea of binder sets. That's what I did. I built binder sets, and that was my first collection goal, like I was saying. The complete WotC first edition sets, and then just the regular sets where there wasn't a first edition set. But so that was my first collection goal. The first set that I purchased back in 2016, I actually remember this. The first set that I purchased back then was the Reverse Holo Legendary Collection set. It was a complete set, near mint condition, that I won during an eBay auction for $700 or $750. really exciting purchase right there, because I absolutely love the reverse hollows from Legendary Collection. But yeah, that was the first purchase. And then the last set that I completed was Neo Discovery. I completed that set in 2017, maybe 2018. And I remember that set cost me right around $1,500. Again, near mint condition on that set. So for the most part, all of my binder sets were completed way back in the day. Paid a lot less for these cards than what they're going for right now. And kind of built high-grade binder sets, and just kind of set them back. Over the years, I've looked at them occasionally. I really never look at them too much, though. So back earlier this year, back in January, maybe February of this year, I decided that it was time to kind of break these up and at least get the cards graded with PSA. I don't know what I'm going to do when they actually return back from PSA. I don't know if I'm going to... we'll take a look at this card too, so you guys can get an idea on the condition of all these. So this one, we got first edition Neo Discovery Espeon right here. As you can see, front of the card looks really good. Not seeing any scratches on the hollow. There might be one little one, like right up there. But overall, really clean front. And then the back of the card is also looking really good. So these are, for the most part, all of the cards within my binder sets looked like this, maybe a little bit worse than this. This one's looking really good. But yeah, for the most part, it's a really high-grade binder set. And so earlier this year, I decided that pricing was getting a little bit too crazy for me to be keeping these cards within binders. So I did break up all of my binder sets. I kept all of the non-hollow cards in the binder. So I do have the complete first edition non-hollow sets of all of these in pretty much pack fresh condition. Those I did keep in the binders in case I wanted to look through a binder at some point. But the hollow cards, I took all those out of the binders. There were a few cards that were like excellent to near mint condition, PSA 7 and below. So for those cards, I did list those as just individual raw cards on eBay, and I've sold through the majority of those already. I think I still have a couple listed on eBay, but for the most part, all those are already sold. And then the reason why you're not seeing many of the Jim and Neo cards is because I already do have some of these cards off at PSA. I don't think I ever did a video on that PSA submission, but I do already have a good portion of these cards off at PSA, so that's why you're not seeing as many Jim and Neo cards. I kind of started with the Jim and Neo sets, and was planning to slowly submit these cards into PSA, but then they decided to shut down. So really, I've just been holding on to these cards until they reopen. But yeah, so I have I forget how many. It's probably between 75 and 100 of these cards at PSA right now. They've been there since February, so probably won't be seeing those at any point soon. But yeah, we'll eventually see those cards come back from PSA. And I'll show you all those cards as well. And then at some point, we'll submit all these cards into PSA, and I'll be able to show you that return whenever that happens. Again, probably not going to happen for a very long time, but at some point, you'll be able to see a video with all of these cards PSA graded, and that'll be a really cool video to record and upload. But like I said, really don't know what I'm going to be doing with all these cards just yet. I just kind of figured that it'd be worth sending all these cards in for grading, to at least have them graded. That way, come down the line, if I do ever want to sell them, I already have them graded, and I'll be able to get them listed on eBay. Versus if I kind of get into a position where I need to sell them, I have them sitting in binders. I'm not gonna do nearly as well selling them ungraded versus graded. So, figured now was the time to at least get them graded, and then decide what to do with them after the fact there. So again, I don't know if any of will actually ever be for sale or what, but yeah, thought it was just kind of a cool video to do, kind of showing you everything that I have set aside for PSA whenever they decide to reopen. And then this was the reverse holo legendary collection that I picked up for was $700 or $750 during an eBay auction back in, it was probably early 2016, so probably January or February of 2016 is when I purchased this set. It was a complete set, all near mint condition. I did upgrade a few of the cards within this set after receiving it, but for the most part, everything was really nice condition. Near mint, meaning PSA 8 and above for me. So for the most part, I think there were a few cards that I listed as in my eBay store when I took this set out of my binder. I think there were a few cards that I listed as being like near mint, maybe excellent condition, but for the most part, everything was gradable in my opinion, and it'll be really cool to see how this set does at PSA. Really looking forward to that. I think if anything, this would be the set that I hold on to. Say I decide to sell everything, which again, I really don't know what I'm going to do. But say I decide to sell everything, this would probably be the set that I hold on to. Plus, just because it was the first kind of the first thing that I purchased for my personal collection. This was the start of my personal collection right here. This reverse hollow legendary collection set. And then all these other sets came afterwards. And then after I completed my sets, I think I went into booster packs, started collecting like the art sets of booster packs from the WotC era. And then after I completed that, then I branched out into the to the EX era for art sets of booster packs, and then all the way up to modern. And then after that, that's when I started collecting theme deck display cases. And then I think the last thing that I collected was the first edition Shadowless and Unlimited base sets. So I'm doing I did the non-hollow sets plus the hollow sets, all PSA graded. I've shown those before on video. The first edition base set's a PSA 8 set, the Shadowless is a PSA 9 set, and the Unlimited is a PSA 9 set. The non-hollow sets, first edition's PSA 9, Shadowless is PSA 10, and Unlimited is PSA 10. But yeah, so thought that'd be kind of a cool video to do. Just kind of showing you everything that I have set aside for eventual grading, talking about my journey into collecting back in the day. Hopefully you guys actually enjoyed that video. Definitely let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.